What is up, everybody? Janelle here with my UFC fight night in Brazil happening this Saturday. And just let me tell you, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. All the Brazil cards are good. Something about being out there. The Brazilians are on high. The crowd is a good mix of being educated and crazy and on high. And it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning. All of the opponents got something to prove in Brazil. So it just makes for really a combustible situation there in Brazil. So please check out the Brazil card. Now, there's 6 fights. Let's get into it. Most of these fights were too close for me to call, so I'm extremely nervous about all of my picks, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Now, first up, great way to start a card off. I'm choosing Alex Cowboy Oliveira to beat Tim Means. However, I think he's more dynamic, has more diversity in his tools. He'll be in Brazil. He'll be on that high from the crowd, which means he has to be careful of his cardio. Measure his attack. If he blows his load in the first or second round, the longer this fight goes, the more in favor of Tim Means, who I think is more rusty around the edges, more a sloppier fighter, more of a brawler. If he can draw Alex out of character, he can slick submission towards the end of the fight that comes out of that ugliness. Who knows? So you really can't count Tim Means out. However, I am going with the cowboy, the Brazilian cowboy. Next up, I'm choosing Betch Coher to beat Marion Renaud. Another thing though, Marion's very smart, slick striker. The longer this fight goes, if it goes to a decision, it can go either way, quite frankly. But if Betch goes for the knockout, if she goes head hunting, I think she'll lose for sure or get KO'd herself. I don't know what the Brazilian crowd's going to do to her. If it's going to make her fight out of character or if the pressure she'll thrive on it, I'm not sure. I'm on Betch Coher, but I am picking her. Next up, I'm choosing Ray Borg to beat Jussier Formiga. I think he's better on the feet, more dynamic on the feet. I think he'll be stronger than him and more powerful him on the feet. However, when it goes to the ground, I think Jussier is better there. He's also fought a higher level of competition. I'm not sure if Ray will be able to muscle his way out of the attacks. I'm not sure if he'll be able to keep a calm head, although he might, because he's improving tremendously every time we see him. He's also with a good camp. Nervous about that pick, but I am going with Ray Borg. Next up, Edson Barbosa versus Beneil Dariush. Both of these are my guys. You know, Beneil Dariush is one of my risers, one of my guys to watch. Edson Barbosa, in my opinion, is a couple of fights away from a title shot. He should have started talking last fight. If he wins this one, he needs to start barking. Although, what does that mean in the lightweight division? We just had the Tony Khabib situation. They shouldn't even been fighting each other. Anyway, let's not get off point. So, Beneil Dariush is black belt in jiu-jitsu, improving every time we see him. He's got a nice durable chin. He's a smart fighter. He's really good at finding ways to win. He's got a good camp behind him. Standing on the feet, he's getting better and better. However, he will, I don't want to say outclassed on the feet, but from the performance we saw with Barbosa against Anthony Pettis, he beat Anthony Pettis with his hands. The kicks didn't even come in until like the 3rd round. His boxing, his striking has improved tremendously. This is probably some of the most growth we've seen from Edson Barbosa since he's been in the UFC. Big and strong. He'll have a 3-inch reach advantage with the hands and only an inch reach advantage with his feet. But because he's so proficient with his Muay Thai and them kicks, honey, with those tree trunk thighs, it will seem like he has like a 5-inch reach advantage with the kicks. And Beneil, I would say you want to, I don't even know if he wants to go to the ground. I think Edson might be a bit stronger than him. And he's got jiu-jitsu himself. He's also got wrestling. He trades up there with Frankie Edgar and them. The boy's got wrestling. He's got good takedown defense. So I'm not sure saying that Beneil wants to take this to the ground is the right thing. He might want to dirty box this. Try to press him up against the cage. Maybe the takedown will come from there. Beneil's going to have the best performance of his career to beat Edson Barbosa, period, let alone in Brazil. Edson Barbosa, he's going to want to keep this standing, which I think he'll be able to do, quite frankly. And I think he will just simply be more skilled, more diversity in his skill with the stand-up game and might be able to finish Beneil Dariush on the feet. Being in Brazil, he thrives under the pressure. And like I said, I just think he's further along in the path than Beneil. That's all. Just further in the journey, fought a higher level of competition. Like I said, he should start barking for a title shot. So I'm picking Edson Barbosa, but that should be a great fight as well. Now, co-main event, very hard for me to pick. We have Mauricio Shogun who against Gene Vellante. And for me, Gene Vellante is a nice, strong stand-up fighter. He's got good wrestling. I think He may be a bit physically stronger. However, I'm not sure about mechanically stronger. Mauricio Shogun, who of course is former champ, he's fought a higher level of competition almost his entire career, not just recently, you know what I'm saying? Although he's 35, and in 5 years, he's like 42. Let's be real, he's had injuries, he's been through some wars, he's had a long time off. His last fight though, he made the necessary changes. He brought in all new training partners in his camp, and the improvement was there. It was evident. He had one of the better performances we've seen in the last 5 years from Mauricio Shogun, and I think he has more tools and just that veteran know-how. I think he'll be able to find a way to win, and in Brazil, he will thrive under that pressure. And this is one fight where I think that he will do better in Brazil than Gene will do thriving off of the, spoiler thing in Brazil. So I am picking Mauricio Shogun, but I don't know. Gene's a big, strong, athletic guy. He could knock Mauricio out, but I am going with Shogun. Now, main event, and we have former UFC champ Vitor Belfort taking on one of my guys to watch as well, Kelvin Gastelum. This was not easier, but not as difficult for me to choose. We have a 5-round fight here. I think the longer this fight goes on, the more in favor of Kelvin Gastelum. I think he has to survive the initial barrage of Vitor Belfort, which will come in the first round. Or if Vitor decides to play it down and try to measure his attack to last longer, I actually think that's how he'll lose, quite frankly. I think his best bet is to end this fight in the first round, in the second round. Barrage him. Vitor Belfort can land a kick to the face at any moment in a fight, and of course that could end any fight, even in the 5th round. But I think Vitor's best bet is to barrage him in the first, second round. Of course, you want to be measured with it. Don't blow your load. You want to be able to survive that first and that second round. But you need to throw the book at him. All your Muay Thai level changes. Maybe you hear that tick of the last 10 seconds. Maybe try a flying armbar or something, or flying knee attack. Who knows? But I think you need to pull out all your tricks early in this fight. Now, that's easier said than done, because Kelvin Gastelum has shown to have quite a chin. Quite a chin, let me say. He's improving vastly every time we see him. And now that he's in a higher weight class, we don't have to worry about those weight cutting issues. As long as he's physically strong, he in there. And he's also another fighter. He will thrive on that pressure. He thrives on being the underdog. Remember in The Ultimate Fighter when he beat the Jamaican. It escapes me. The Jamaican. I hate to call him that, but when he beat him, we were all shocked. But he was mentally stronger, more prepared than we knew. He has the ability to find a way to win. He has the ability to adjust his game plan within the octagon. He has a good team behind him, and I think he's just on an upward trajectory, whereas Vitor is in the winter of his career. Now, Vitor is the perfect example of, what is that? The dying lion is the most dangerous, or something like that. That's Vitor Belfort. Totally. But I'm going with Kelvin Gastelum in Brazil. Yeah. Let me know how your picks. Let me know your injury updates. Any news you've got coming for me. How you feel about all of the Brazilian events. Because they're all so good. So let me know any memories or thoughts you have of past Brazil fight nights. Give me your picks. Like I said, injury updates. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm on Snapchat now. Subscribe, like, talk to me. Take care, and goodbye.